Hi, today on Working with Wonder, I'm going to show you how to pull data for a single cause of death. And by single cause of death, it might be actually a whole category. And I'm going to show you how to do that across multiple years. So with CDC WONDER, we have the data easily available going back to 1968. But there are three different regimes of the coding of these causes of death: ICD-8, ICD-9, and ICD-10. So ICD-10 covers the 1999 to 2020. We'll start with that one. Now, not everybody is going to want to reach all the way back to 1968, but I do. I'm working on a blog post right now about motor vehicle accidents. So I'm just going to, for this video, focus on getting the crude death rates and the age-adjusted death rates for motor vehicle accidents going back to 1968. So I'm going to scroll down to the cause of death. Now, I want basically the big category of motor vehicle accidents. So the easiest way for me, because I know it's in the 113 cause list, is I'm going to scroll down, and it's going to be under accidents, accidental causes of death. So accidental causes of death is the rankable. So you can see that right here. So that's accidents. Pardon me. So I don't want accidents. So you can see under accidents, and that covers a huge range of codes under ICD-10. There's transport accidents, so V01 to V99, and then Y85. But I just care about motor vehicle accidents. I really don't care about other land transport accidents, water, airspace. I don't care. I really just care if you have cars and trucks and that kind of thing. So that's what I care about. So I'm just going to select that one. I'm going to send, get my data. Can take a moment. Okay, so let's see if this is what I want. Okay, and also, you will note, so you get the number of deaths, we get our base population for each year, our crude rate and age-adjusted rate. If you look closely, our crude rate and our age-adjusted rate are essentially the same, which is what we should expect given that the age-adjusted rate is based on a year 2000 or close to year 2000 reference population. So close to the year 2000, these numbers should be about the same. But as we get closer to the year 2020, they're going to diverge a little. They're still pretty close. So we can see that it really jumped up 11.9 up to 12.9 or 11.5 up to 12.5. I'm going to export that. And then let's go back to the top because we need to go to the other years. We're going through the underlying cause of death database. So now we need to get to the prior years. So now we're going to the ICD-9 codes. And we're going to agree to their stuff. Again, we're going to group results by year. And then I'm going to scroll down to the cause of death. So again, we don't want the individual codes. We want, and you'll see there's fewer choices up here. I'm selecting the 72 groups. This isn't so great, but you'll see motor vehicle accidents is right there. You'll see that it uses different kinds of coding. I am just selecting this motor vehicle accidents. The mapping is not exactly the same. It is, ICD-9 versus ICD-10. I'm going to send. When we do, oops, I did screw up. I forgot to ask for my age-adjusted rate. Ooh, and you can see it's a lot higher now. Before we were like 11 or 12, and now that's 23.8. So I'm going to go back to my request form. I forgot to ask for my age-adjusted rate. So let's do age-adjusted rate. So the default is always that year 2000 reference population. And this is 1979 to 1998. And we can already see, look at those numbers. Holy moly. Starting at 23.8 for the crude rate, and you'll see the age adjusted rate is different. The age distribution in 1979 is, of course, very different from what it was in the year 2000. And then as we get closer to the year 2000, the age adjusted rate and the crude rate are going to converge because the age distribution is going to converge. We'll export that, and then we'll get our ICD 8. So going back to compressed mortality, we want ICD 8 code, so 1968 to 1978. Agree. We're going to group, again, by year. And as we go back in time, we see we have fewer and fewer choices. Remember to do age-adjusted rate. Again, scroll down to cause of death. Now we have 69 groups. Let's scroll down to find our motor vehicle accidents. Accidents are down here. Motor vehicle accidents. So you see this E coding. It's very similar to the ICD-9. We're going to send. And this is in the 20s, and we can see how that went. Okay, so we're going to export that. So we've already pulled our data. Now we're going to switch over to Excel. So I've imported the 3 data exports into tabs into this Excel file. I've imported them properly. I'm not going to show you those steps again. And the reason I do that, this is just best practices as an actuary. Of course, it's a little overkill for these particular data sets, but I like to, just keep to good habits. It's just like washing your hands. It has all of the information of, when did I do the query, all the query parameters. It has all the caveats and all of that. I don't really need it for this data, but it's good. And then when I do my graph prep, I'm not mixing any analysis. I'm not mixing, any kind of transformation I'm doing on the data with the initial data I pulled. So I'm just doing an equals and pulling it from the individual tabs to do these. I don't have to do lookups, they're in order, but I also did a year over year change. Now this is hard to kind of visualize. I will be doing a graph, but I like using conditional formatting to make this pop. And so what I can do, so what's good, of course, are big negatives. So let's see, big negatives are really good. So I could do this. So very dark greens are good, and I'm more likely to see those. So what happened in 1974 and 1982 and in the early 90s? So, and people who lived through these might remember what happened in 2008 and 2009. Though in a couple of these cases, you're going like, what? So what usually happens, these were recessions, and what usually happens recessions, and in 1974, I think that's the oil embargo. Now, I was born that year, so, don't ask me, I was a baby. I would actually have to look that one up. I mean, in some of these cases, the reduction is because of improved safety. But in a lot of these cases, it's because people drove less. When we do car safety statistics, we actually usually do in terms of rates based on number of miles driven, which is not what mortality rates. We do that per year, per person per year. And that's what we're seeing here. When it goes up, it's because more people are driving. And as the economy grows, generally more people are dying because more people are driving. And it drops in a recession a lot. And you can see that in 2008, even though that happened at the end of the year. And you can see it 2008, 2009. That's amazing. So what's anomalous, and then we saw a lot of growth into 2015 and 2016, so it went up. So what's amazing, of course, is there's a recession in 2020 and it went up by a lot. So let's insert uh, a graph. I'm not even going to bother to put it on its own page. So in general, we are seeing this curve go down. Safety has improved. We have airbags. We have improved highway safety in many ways. Less drunk driving. We do see it go up. It drops precipitously when people drive less. The oil embargo, stuff like that, when we have recessions, it drops in general precipitously. But then you see it go up a little bit. So there are like competing things that go on. And in the auto insurance, often you see rates go up, auto insurance rates go up when the economy is expanding because people are driving more miles. Um, Now, if you have a usage-based uh, price, the premium per mile driven doesn't necessarily go up, but the issue is that the number of miles driven goes up. Of course, what's bad is the number of miles driven dropped a lot in 2020, but the number of accidents flew up. So anyway, I'll be doing a post on that, but so now you can see how you can grab. In this case, I did motor vehicle accidents, but you can pick other categories. Now, not all of the categories go all the way back to 1968. I knew motor vehicle accidents did. Other ones don't map well between ICD-10, ICD-9, and ICD-8. But certain large categories, and the ones a lot of people want to investigate, do translate pretty well between the major coding categories. So try it out for yourself for something that you're interested in.